Welcome to Word for Today. May the peace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you. The symbol of the shepherd is connected with the nomadic civilization. Moses appeared as the true shepherd. David would be his distant successor. David's successors distorted the function of the shepherd. The situation of lost sheep, flocks without a shepherd, became a reality. Amos, a professional shepherd, cried out against the false pastors. Hosea announced for the first time that God was the true pastor. Isaiah spoke of the shepherd king while not rejecting the God shepherd theme. These two traditions joined in the person of Christ, God and Messiah at the same time. To whom is Jesus talking here? To this question, the answer comes from John 9th chapter. The immediate context, he is talking to the Pharisees who in this section and in the gospel in general are equated with the Jews. They are the religious leaders of the people of Israel together with the priests and scribes. Scholars believe that Johannine Gospel was written in a time when the Johannine community was facing harassment from the leaders of the synagogue, the Pharisees, who had abandoned their people during the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD and had gone to the village of Jamnia, where they started the process of reconstructing Judaism. John 10:12-13 may be a direct reference to that event. They are likened to bad shepherds. In contrast, Jesus is presented as the good shepherd, the suffering Messiah who lays down his life for the flock. When the Johannine community affirmed that Jesus was the shepherd, they were not only making a Christological affirmation, that is, who they thought Jesus was, but they were also affirming what kind of leadership was expected in their midst. This Good Shepherd model was therefore one that the leaders of the community were encouraged to follow. A comparison is being drawn between two individuals, the Good Shepherd and the hired hand. They represent two completely different kinds of leadership. The community is being portrayed as a sheepfold, and its leaders are described positively or negatively as shepherds, thieves, bandits, gatekeepers, strangers, gates, and hired hands. The main theme of the passage is laid out in John 10:11. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand does not care for the sheep because they are not his. The good shepherd does. They have an intimate relationship with him. All past leaders avoided suffering for the community. They came to take advantage of the people. Instead of giving them life, they took it away from them. But Jesus came to give them life through the giving of his own. He did this not as a victim, but as a willing voluntary sacrifice. Pastoral ministry is not a profession, it is a vocation. In Christian leadership today, there is a distorted direction in few leaders. Leadership privileges are prioritized at the expense of the responsibilities. When we value privileges, then we only care about ourselves, our career, our success, our retirement, etc. Not necessarily about the people we serve. We become hired hands, those who do not care for the sheep. But when we understand ministry as a vocation, then we care for others to the point of giving our lives for them. We honestly should face our own failures and recommit ourselves to the call we received when we started this journey we call ministry. In the context of church leadership, the symbol of the shepherd is applicable only if we consciously admit that we are dealing with men and women created in the image of God. Human beings can instinctively discriminate the good and bad qualities of the church leadership. The church leadership has to believe in the inherent capacity of men and women for self-direction. The people of God have to be involved in the decision-making process for better communion and growth. People expect their leaders to be prophets of justice and defender of human rights of human beings, made in the image and likeness of God, as mentioned in Pastorus Gregis. Christian leadership is concerned with fostering change. Leadership is a group process, a collective effort, rather than the action of a single individual. Christian fellowship involves a radical response from its leaders. The master in the church will wash the feet of the servants. Jesus washes the feet of his disciples. Power in the church is service. Leaders in the church are servants. But in reality, this perspective is ignored. Human need for domination influences their cognitions and emotions. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Christian understanding of leadership and power is unfortunately ignored. Leaders are called to establish direction by establishing a vision of the future. Then they align people by communicating this vision and inspiring them to overcome hurdles. Communities and organizations need strong leadership for optimum effectiveness. Leaders are needed to challenge the status quo, to create visions of the future, and to inspire members to want to achieve the vision of a new heaven and earth as envisaged by Jesus. Leadership in church is not to maintain status quo. Inspirational leadership should find central stage in church communities.